All right. Good day, good evening, and in my neck of the woods, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We are connecting up for another live podcast on a Saturday, and I do this all the time anyway. But it just so happens that we're even more productive on these weekends because we are recording this in the middle of the COVID adventures, or some people are calling it the COVID challenge. I believe it is a opportunity to grow and improve. And my new guest co-host joining me today might know a little bit about that. Because she has a bit of a mission. She likes to help busy professional women shift their mindsets and find fulfillment. I'm a big fan. A lot of us are guilty of not managing our own inner critics, so to speak. And I might have been there in the past where I've been a little self-sabotaging. But my guest co-host today is going to help us understand more about that, maybe be a better self, maybe be better for yourself and those around you. So please welcome to the show my guest co-host today, Su Orosa. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much. I like how you pronounce my name.
I rolled the R there, didn't I, just now?
Yeah,
I just had a little
cool.
flair, a little flick of the tongue.
That's
so
right.
I will say, after almost 4 years of podcasting, I have been having fun with that because, and for our listeners and watchers out there, I mean, where are you airing right now for us?
So I'm in Eastbourne in the UK. It's right on the south coast, southeast, yeah.
Southeast coast. So do you get like coastal winds and that type of weather patterns?
Certainly do. Yeah, it's always very breezy, guaranteed. Yeah.
Well, it's breezy here today. I'd say it's about, I don't know, probably low to mid 40s Fahrenheit outside right now. We were just, I had the garage door open on our garage. We have a gym out there. So my wife and I were working out there, trying to, keep working on our better selves during this little shutdown, lockdown adventure.
Absolutely.
So what do you do differently, let's just jump right into that. Like, everybody's right now about being their better selves and I'm excited to do this with you today because I am so tired of seeing all the negative Nancys online. Everybody is showing the latest statistic, the latest numbers. And I'm like, guys, why do I care? And some people I'm probably going to create a little uproar saying this. So I'm intrigued how you're going to respond to, because I'm like, me knowing the numbers doesn't change a thing. I'm following the guidelines. I'm staying locked down. I'm minimizing any travel. I'm staying healthy and fit. My wife and I are working out. We're keeping our nutrition important, maybe a little meditation, a little yoga. What do you have to say about all this?
Absolutely. I agree. I think it's really wise and advisable to not get caught up in all of the negativity. So to just keep on top, but just enough, so we don't drown in some kind of collective anxiety, so stay away from the news if you can, and just
I call it the negative news networks. So yes,
absolutely, yeah, and yes,
because that's really that's all they care about. They care about I used to respect the news when I grew up as a kid. Maybe you did too. I don't know. Like, my parents would only turn it on when we were done working on the farm or whatever, but it was always educational. I feel like over all this time, it's now because drama TV has taken on so much, and dramatic movies and dramatic TV shows, and this, real life and real world, or whatever you call these, I call them role-playing TV shows because they're not real. It's all become, well, if it's not dramatic, we can't talk about it. So the news is all negative news.
So it has, it has to be kind of negative all the time. And it just draws people into that vibe.
Yeah.
And it's just not helpful. It really isn't. There should be news networks that are just for happy news. That would be brilliant.
See, that's the numbers I'd like to see. I mean, show me, oh, this many are sick, this many are confirmed. But hey, don't forget, very few people are showing all the people healing, all the people recovering, right? That positive energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it's like, well, why don't we analyze what news networks are sharing, the ratio of positive versus negative, and then maybe we can coach that back to them and say, listen, guys, we need to see all the good that's happening in the world.
Yeah, exactly. I think they play to the fear, don't they? To people's fear.
Right.
And hope, and kind of control everybody enough that we then have to kind of behave in certain ways. And it's right that we have to isolate, and it's right to do all those things. But at the same time, if you're somebody who already is anxious and suffering, from OCD, for example,
Mm-hmm.
or
Anxiety,
claustrophobia, etc., then this doesn't help. Feeding that doesn't really help.
Well, that's part of your background too, is that you're always trying to work with people to, help them kind of like, okay, let's take a little introspection, right? I'll use one of your words. It's, it's so easy to stay right now. I think a lot of people are so afraid of the outside world that they're forced to look more inside. And
Absolutely.
I think some people are doing a great job redeveloping themselves, refocusing. And that's, I mean, I was kind of hoping to lean on that today with our show, because we don't really pre-format this. You and I are just going to hang out and have fun. But it's like right now, Carpe Diem, this is right up your alley. You're constantly trying to work with people's mindsets and everything.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
People need this. People need to be reminded, like, we should be building ourselves stronger, right? Building each other, our families, our friends, taking advantage of technology to do so, right? Like you and I are doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a lot of connection going on, and there is a lot of introspection and people wanting to better themselves and to improve, and there is a lot of that going on, which is fantastic. But there is also the other side of that, like the shadow side of the virus. Not that there's a positive side, but you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So the people that are kind of, that we don't want them to be left behind in some way while all this other good stuff is happening. But I guess then it's down to the people that are managing it okay to kind of help and support. And that is what's happening. There is a lot more of a sense of community out there that seems to be growing daily, which is great. And people wanting to help and wanting to give their time for free, especially if you're therapists and coaches and counsellors. We have been called upon to do that bit more for the community, because we're already, like you say, we're already in that world.
Yeah, I was going to say, and actually just for fun, because I love screen sharing when I'm doing video feeds, because I love how colorful, by the way, you have such a vibrant site. I don't know whoever chose all of your imagery it's like,
thank you.
I felt brightened when I loaded the website today. I was like, oh, very colorful.
It is indeed.
But that's right up your alley, right? You care a lot about coaching, counseling. You do work, you do yoga workshops, Reiki, all of this. So, and a lot of people, I've brought this up on the show before, and people are like, oh, well, what's Reiki? Or, oh, there's so many different kinds of yoga out there. I'm like, and let's pause on yoga. I'd like to hear your point of view on this. I am not talking about, hot, sweaty yoga.
No.
This is not about the exercise component that a lot of it's been turned into. It's more the calming spirituality component. Is that what you really try and lean towards?
Absolutely. It's influenced by a lady called Scaravelli, an Italian lady from the last century. And it feels weird to say, but last century, but and she kind of promoted the idea that we don't need to kind of put our bodies into shapes that feel unnatural to us, to kind of, for the sake of, for the sake of making a shape. Well, I wish I was there now.
Oh, holding those different poses. And
yes, holding those and compromising the body in some way if it's not, So there's something about, of course, yoga is really beneficial if it's done very actively as well. But this is the other side of yoga, the side, if you talk about introspection, that's exactly where this yoga fits. It's a kind of going inward. It's to look more inside your internal space, to let the body breathe, and to express itself.
So is there a style of this yoga? Because there is so many different domains.
Like
what kind of genre are you?
Slow yoga.
Slow? Oh, really? That simple?
It is.
Okay.
It's that simple. But it is influenced by Scaravelli, which is a kind of a yin kind of yoga.
Yin versus yang? Or
yes.
Okay.
So it's much more the feminine, I guess.
Okay.
So it is a slowing down. It's very much about slowing down and allowing your body to find itself.
Well, I'll be true and transparent. I was not slowing down as of yesterday on Friday. It got to the point where I said, oh God, I'm just done. I've been on webinars all week. I've been training people. Phone's ringing. My wife walked in. She's a veterinary doctor, so she's been on call half the week for her because
Wow.
she's a necessary business. I can run my
Yeah.
business right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, babe, we haven't been out of the house. I haven't been out of the house all week. I was like, I'm going to go
Yeah.
buy lumber and build things. And
Yeah.
like you and I were joking, like I'm going to go
Yeah.
after this, I'm going to go build some raised gardens
Yeah.
and let my wife plant
Great.
some vegetables and things of that nature.
Mm.
And it's like, that's Zen for me. I can
Yeah.
distract myself. I can calm
Yes.
down.
Yes.
Cause I had a little bit of anxiety last night. I'm like, dude, I'm ready to, I need to go buy a punching bag or something.
Yeah. Yes. There's
And,
only so much you can do like that.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, are you getting this from some of your followers and some of your, people that you help right now? That's why I'm bringing up myself.
Yes.
I'm all about, I've done all this development, personal, professional. I do yoga,
Mm.
and we're all guilty of that.
Oh,
We're all guilty of getting overwhelmed.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And people say, "Oh, but Sue, I would have thought you had it all sussed by now."
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
It's like, sorry, we're human.
Say, well, yeah, I'm a human first, and then the rest follows. I need a life as well. But yes, yeah, for sure. Some of us have been overworking. It's very tempting to do so, and especially now when perhaps we're needed much more online. And that comes with a cost for sure. And I've had, the last week, I think I reached my peak of tolerance, if you like, for that level of work. And that, I had a couple of wobbly days, and I had a day where I was just sad all day. Didn't have a clue why, but I just felt really sad. And I thought, well, maybe it's something to do with tapping into the collective unconscious sadness or whatever.
I think for me, I'm using the term, I was too plugged in.
Yes,
up until 3 weeks ago, I usually do a lot of, I would call it localized travel. I would travel amongst 3 to 4 states for my business and my clients' businesses. So usually I would set up travel and go do business meetings in the traditional world before this. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'd be behind the wheel of my car, and I'd head up to New York, or I'd head down to Delaware or the state of New Jersey and do my meetings. So I would have maybe a 45-minute meeting, but then I might have 30 minutes of windshield time. So I'm not plugged in. I'm out traveling.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, I am very productive, mind you. There's a lot of stuff getting done, but I'm using the term like, man, I might have been too plugged in the past 2 weeks.
Yes, that's absolutely.
Like I got to schedule some downtime.
Yeah. So that travel time, that time outside of the house before, it's not there. So you fill in the gap. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's just too tempting not to. But I think when we had our pre-approval chat, you gave a really good, I think you call it a hack. Hacks in the States. We call
everybody's throwing around the word hack. I couldn't help it. It popped in.
And this was really good. You said that actually now you put specific activities like yoga or rest or whatever
it's
it is
hard-coded
into the diary, because otherwise it's too tempting, to be overly plugged in.
Well, because I have for example, like my largest client, I have my own email account set up within her company so we could share calendars and book each other. Yeah. So her entire company has access to me. So if I don't block stuff out, then they go and book it. And I have my other regular business calendar that I manage too. So I have to, I'm always cross-referencing. So yes, if I'm booking a meeting or a unplugged session, I think yesterday I actually put take a break ! And I put it from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then at the end of that, I was just like, I put my phone on airplane mode. As soon as my wife walked in, I'm like, all right, let's go do something. I'm not going to stare at this computer anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good for you. I mean, just sitting in the garden earlier, did have these, pangs of guilt. Yeah. Waves of guilt that come over, like I should be doing something, but actually,
let's pause on that. Yeah. Why guilt?
Yeah, absolutely. Why guilt? That guilt of, I need to be doing more because there's always more to be done, because your job never ends, does it? There's always something to do.
True.
So I guess it's just like self-imposed feeling of actually I should be doing some more.
Okay, I get it. So like we feel guilty if we aren't, filling the schedule.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then having to kind of de-escalate from that to remind myself, come on. I need to have a rest. I need a break.
Well, I learned that a long time
fine.
ago. It's funny we're talking about it now. One of my old mentors said, Scott, like, if you don't feel guilty about putting yourself first. And I asked him, I was like, why do you say that? And he said, well, because if you step up to your client or to anybody you're trying to help, and he's like, picture it like because my keyword in my brand is fuel, right? So we're here to fuel your health, business, and lifestyle today, right? So he's like, you step up with a half-empty fuel tank or petrol tank in your car, but you're going to go pick up your wife or your friend and say, hey, we're going to go hit a big road trip, but you're only half empty. He's like, so you're going to break up the drive already because you got to stop and get more fuel. He's like, you're not running, you're not ready to go. Brilliant, and I was like, oh, interesting. And he said, yeah. He's like, so picture that. Sitting down and having dinner with your wife. If your tank is half empty, you're not fully present. You're not fully there.
Absolutely. Not fully engaged and present. So we need that. We have to prioritize those spaces and those pauses. We have to, otherwise it's to our detriment, for sure. Yeah.
I could definitely, I learned that from the relationship coaching programs that I bought. I share this once in a while on the show because I don't care. I love making fun of myself because my wife, we just been married just over a year. But I was never in a serious relationship. I mean, we didn't get married until I was in my 40s. So I'm a late bloomer. But one of the biggest things I learned was get vulnerable, right? Be transparent. But the other part of that is reminding yourself, are you truly present? And what are your thoughts on the presence piece? I was hoping to dig a little deeper into that because everything you and I are talking about today, right? Technology, we're filling our schedules. We have to stay productive. I coach that people, my guys, like in the small business world, if we're not putting ourselves and our businesses first, our economy worldwide is already going to be thrashed, but we need to keep that energy flowing.
Yeah.
But on my segue on that is, okay, what about the presence piece? Because great, you're working so hard, you're filling your schedule, you're staying productive, are you really present in each of those meetings?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it's just too tempting if we have all the time in the house, as you say, it's just too tempting to keep adding things in. So it's just having that strong resolve and will to put those spaces in between, in between activities.
Well, with the presence piece, do you have any tips on that and helping people to just, I don't know, pause? We'll call that the hack, the pause hack. Like, how do you catch yourself, right? How do you catch yourself and then be like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. My mindset's distracted. I'm not present. I'm not saying you got to sit down and go through a whole yoga session. Maybe it's maybe it's a breathing exercise. Maybe it's a short-term meditation. Like, how do you work with people like that to bring the anxiety down and get them more present?
And well, it's a noticing thing as well. It's to kind of checking in, making that into a routine where you check in with yourself. How am I feeling? How am I responding, or am I reacting rather than responding?
Okay.
How am I feeling? How's my body? So it's something about that, having that self-awareness to know that you need to step back in the first place. So developing a habit around that first, to notice where you're at any given point. So, and perhaps making it a routine to check in with yourself, even if it's, I don't know, once an hour, once every 15 minutes, whatever it might be. So developing.
And is it different for everybody, or do you recommend like, hey guys, at least do it for like 5 minutes? Just take 5 minutes.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
What's a threshold? I don't know.
Absolutely. For everybody, that is going to be different. But if you can't spend 5 minutes, a day
pausing,
then there's something wrong, isn't there? There really is. So again, it's that cultivating that awareness and placing importance on doing that, because just taking 2 minutes out is going to help to recalibrate the brain for sure. Amazing. Or even having, people have 20-minute naps, don't they?
That's true. I saw that pop up actually recently. I saw people promoting napping more, but I think they were doing it in a fun way. But I actually think there's some validity to that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, especially if you're really tired and whatever reason. And it just gives you some time out, gives the brain some time out. But any longer than 20 minutes and then, you're going to wake up rough. So, yeah. So something about developing that self-awareness to realize, how am I feeling at any given point, and then allowing yourself to walk around the house or your apartment.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Just walk around, kind of clear the air somehow, go for a walk if you can, if it's, you know, if it's your allotted daily walk right now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pause on that. What's your ruling over there in the UK? Are you guys allowed to go walk? Or
So yeah, we're allowed to have one bit of exercise a day.
who's governing that? Like, how do they
Well,
know?
we don't know. We
Do
don't.
the neighbors like sit out there with
Spy on
binoculars
you.
and spy on
Yeah,
each other?
probably. Yeah.
And then do you
They've
call
been
the
out twice
police?
today. What's going on there?
Like, oh my God, my neighbor went out for a second healthy hike.
Oh my God,
It's
who
terrible.
do I report this to? Yeah. So a lot of people are going out in the morning, really, like 5, 6 in the morning for their walk, you know.
Oh, hoping that
somewhere
there'd be
where
less
there's-
people out there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And other people, yeah, whatever, jogging. We take, my husband and I take our dog for a walk
Okay.
every morning, which is great because we would never have done that together before. So somehow now we just do it together. And we do a sneaky one.
I like that. Sneaky one.
Sneaky, just
Is
10
that, like,
minutes
late
up
at
the
night?
road. Yeah, in the evening. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's nobody about.
Well, and if you have
The
a dog, I
Yeah.
feel for the dogs because,
Yeah.
I mean, our dog is a tripod. We had to take one of his legs off to save him from cancer, but he's still just a spaz and nutball like he's ever been. And he's now over 11 years old, and it's like it never even happened.
Yeah.
So my wife just took him down to the park.
Yes.
There's a big park that we mountain bike in, and she just takes him out on the trails, and he loses it. He loves it.
Lovely.
But his morning walk, yeah, that's
it's important.
if he didn't have that, like, oh my God, he would be crazy in this house.
Yeah.
Other
Absolutely.
podcasts, people have heard him. Like, he'll just lose it in the other room, and he's in there howling. He's an English red tick coonhound. So,
oh goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
It's like well, they call it red tick because it has that orangey, patchy hair versus like a blue tick, which is like a grayish blue hair. So it's a short hair hound dog.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Lovely.
He's very loud.
A Romanian. He's what? He's what?
I said he's very loud.
Oh.
So
we have a Romanian rescue dog, and she's kind of a mixture of a Chihuahua and we think shepherd dog. She sniffs and she likes to round up other people.
Oh, she has
dogs.
When I was a kid, we had 2 Australian shepherds, and they were very big in herding, moving things, all that stuff.
Yeah, they love that.
Yeah.
So going back to what we're allowed, we're also
walking,
allowed to go to walking. We're allowed to walk, and we're allowed to go to the shop once a day. I think once a day. Yeah, once a day, and to pick up medication if you need to.
Oh, okay.
I think those are the 3 things, but they might be tightening up a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, the state of here in the USA, like the governors of the states can, put their own ruling into place. So It's been a very big debate. That's why I don't pay attention to the news. I don't care. I'm like, whatever the guidelines are, I'll respect them.
Yeah.
I will follow them.
Yeah.
So I try to only go to the grocery store, the shop once a week. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to minimize it.
That's right.
So that's all.
That's brilliant.
Luckily, I'm not on any drugs or any medication. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, but we're using up the food in ways that we probably wouldn't have done before. So we have less waste.
True.
In that way.
Yeah.
It's just life is simpler.
Yeah. People are valuing their leftovers more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Getting creative. Yeah. But I like the peace of it. The peace.
It's, I will say, my wife and I, when I met her, she'd already bought this house. This was her great grandmother's house, and then she had restored it when she bought it. It was her first house, and then we started dating, and then it was okay. Well, then next thing you know, I'm living here, and then we got engaged and got married. So, but she had this really nice high top dining room table. You could sit 4, maybe 6, but it's a big square, big robust, wooden table, and I love it. We just walk past it all the time. We usually sit together at the couch and have dinner together there. And so at least once a week, I'm like, no television. She loves her television. I mean, she's a busy doctor, so sometimes she just needs that to calm her brain down.
Yeah.
And she sits there and reads her book and all that. And I'm like, all right, let's just go use the dining room table. Let's sit down, have dinner together, and let's talk.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
the sad part is, that actually needs to be a special thing.
I know, because it's so easy and tempting, isn't it, to get caught up in
It is.
TV dinners. Yeah, absolutely. We have the same. That we have a dining room table, and it has a lot of my books and stuff on there. But we have to.
When we were kids, we did not. We never did that. There was no television at the dinner table.
No.
You went to the dining room or the kitchen. You ate in there.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
when I visit my parents, I do that. They have a small kitchen table because just him, my mom and my father, and then they have the dining room. So when we have people over from the holidays, we're all out there. But to this day, I've never seen them eat in their living room. It's a no-no. So
absolutely, how times change.
Yeah,
how times change.
Actually, here's something fun. Do you guys have just to help people, because we're sharing all kinds of tips today or hacks to help adapt? Do you guys have companies out there that you can order stuff online? Like, for example, like a meat company. Can you have like flash frozen, like quality meats drop shipped to your home?
Yes, okay. I believe so. I think it's local. People use local farms.
Oh, even better. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah. So here in the USA, there's a company called Crowd Cow. So you could crowdsourcing, like you could crowdsource what you want out of an animal. And they only work with like localized in this country, but small sustainable farms. The beef is grass fed, it's pasture raised chickens. They find wild caught like salmon farms to partner with them. So I just want to share this because like we're recording this on Easter weekend. So my wife told me last week, she's like, oh, my parents want to support local businesses. They're going to order Easter dinner for themselves from the local restaurant. And they were hoping that we would order from there too. And then we're going to video chat Easter dinner. So I was like, okay, So we already put, but they're the restaurant, obviously, because they can't be open. They're only cooking and you're doing pickup delivery. And you have to order, it's dinner for two. So the way they are selling it, it's already a 2-person. So you have to agree. That was fun, trying to agree on the same dinner. So anyway, I felt bad because my parents live over an hour away from here. And I'm like, well, I can't do the same for them. So I went on, we grew up in farming. They've never had meat drop shipped to their home. They just work with the local farms where they live. So I went online, and my dad loves lamb chops, or like the lamb, whatever. So this is already butchered, cut, packaged, flash frozen, ready to go. So I ordered him and my mom a couple of nice like lamb chops, and then to get free shipping, I added a couple other meals in. So I put some wild caught salmon in there, and then a couple of tenderloins and a pack of bacon. And it just arrived yesterday, and she called this morning saying, well, that was a surprise. We've never had meat show up on our doorstep. But then my dad was so excited because she's like, your dad saw that you shipped him lamb. And I'm like, yeah, like that's his thing. Once a year on Easter weekend. And I was like, listen, I can't take you out to dinner right now, but here's Easter dinner.
How lovely.
But see that let's full circle this. Like, I'm smiling. I have the chills. I feel good, right? Like, what is this stuff you guys talk about?
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, this is adapting. This is about survival. It's about creativity. It's just like hitting the mark. It's achieving something, achieving something as well. And then this is all feel good stuff, isn't it?
Right.
Absolutely. Right. And it's about community, communication. It's hitting a load of stuff right there.
Yeah. Fantastic. I put a video out last week about that. I challenged people to get creative. Can you partner with local businesses, local farms? And actually, I just saw an article come out. Might have been I forget if it was in California or where it was, but they're allowing local beef farms who've never done it before to sell local. Like you used to have to ship your animals to either a market or a slaughterhouse, and then it's processed and blah, 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 blah. And then but now, like, there's farms who have never sold meat locally before, and now if they've got their own, butcher facility on the farm,
much better, isn't it?
They're lightening the laws on it. So
yeah, much better to do that locally.
Absolutely.
And so, but now might be a good time to tell you that I'm vegetarian.
Oh, I'm just referring to that. I mean,
know.
let's flip the coin. I have a very good friend of mine. She just had her second child. She's a yoga instructor and a vegetarian. And she used to be pescatarian. Then she went full vegetarian.
Actually, yeah, no, actually, I'm a pescatarian.
Okay. Yeah. So it's cool. I respect it. I mean, I tell people, like, listen, if you find something that works with your biology, your gut health, and you can live a healthy, sustainable, high energy life, you do you.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I have my protocols. You do you, right?
Absolutely.
So, but the same thing with vegetables. I mean, there's local farms that actually, there's one I found out that they will actually bring it to you. Like, they're not mailing it. Like, they'll just they show on Facebook, like, they're wiping all the boxes down, and then putting gloves on and putting it in their car, driving it, dropping it, and then people are still recommending that you wipe your packages off before you bring them into your home.
Yeah.
But they're trying. They said, listen, we have these fields, we have the vegetables. It's springtime. Things are growing now. So if we can help get people that.
Here they're having trouble because a lot of people, because of people going back to their own countries or being in isolation, there's nobody picking doing the harvesting of food.
The labor. Yes.
And there's a real problem right now.
That's happening right now. Which might make you happy. The butcher companies, our government released such a nice unemployment pay rate that they can make more money sitting on their butts than doing the work. So
the furlough thing.
Yeah. So it's like, they're like, so these companies, not just butcher or meat packers, but also I'm worried about the big agricultural providing companies. Like, if the general labor is a legal citizen in this country and they can get furloughed and make more money on unemployment, they're just going to go be lazy and sit at home and take the paycheck. And there's an argument on that. I just don't agree with it. I'm like, listen, we need to keep our world moving. If we can do that in a healthy way.
Absolutely.
I don't agree with the whole unemployment thing. If people need it, then yes. But if you can still do a job, with social distancing, please do it.
So I guess it's the employers making that a possibility so that it's as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
But these farmers were like saying, please come and help. We need kind of like a British land force.
Well, if people don't realize, like okay, if you don't support that now. The person who took the easy paycheck and went and sat on his couch, well, you're going to need food soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're not helping with that, you're going to suffer from that as well. It's a full circle.
Absolutely.
People don't realize these things.
Yeah. How everything has an impact on something.
Now, for now, you guys are doing okay. You can source things properly. You're able to get your vegetables and everything.
We are. If you go to your local shop, but if you're trying to get online, my mum lives about 6 hours away, 6-hour drive away from where I am. So, I'm communicating with her all the time, but I'm trying to get her, because she's 87, online groceries and stuff. It's impossible. It's impossible because there's so much demand. Yeah. That to get a booking slot is really, really hard. It's like, I don't know. It's just never.
I will give a shout out to these shipping and logistics companies that are keeping the world moving.
They are incredible. They're incredible.
Yeah, do you guys have UPS over there? United
Parcel
Service, the brown trucks.
I think so.
I don't know, because we have like Federal Express, UPS, all these shipping companies. Yeah, everybody's ordering online. So if they weren't here, we would not have the simplicity and I call it first world problems. We should be really getting introspective and appreciating what we do have access to.
Yeah, absolutely. It is amazing. But we're lucky because we have people around where my mum lives that can go to the grocery store and supermarkets.
Yeah, my parents are 70 now, and I mean, my dad still runs his business. He still gets out there. Yeah. But my mom's a little slower these days. She's got a walker, and I was like, that's why if I could ship some stuff.
Oh, great. I know, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I was able on Mother's Day. I was able to send her some flowers and stuff.
There you go.
Which was lovely to do.
It's little things like that, like people appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about that then. Like, the little things. That's a fun segue because this goes back to. That's one thing I learned. I learned yoga when I moved to the state of Colorado years ago, and I got to study 4 or 5 different styles, and I did like the ones that slowed down. It was very methodical with the movements. But I do remember the reason why they wanted you to go slow was to focus on the little things, the little feelings, like how things were lighting up in your brain and in your head, everything.
Yeah.
But these little things that you and I are talking about right now can create a lot of positivity, a lot of positive energy. And I think people are underestimating that. Sometimes, like, okay, yes, you are stuck in your home more. Can you pick the phone up and reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while? You know, send a text, or set up a fun text battle. I don't know. My wife was having a fun thing going back and forth with her parents, her brother, and her sister-in-law, all in the same text thread on her phone last night. I'm like, that is all you guys, like, do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were sending memes and making fun of each other, and it was a whole thing. I'm like,
yeah,
all right, have fun.
My husband last week with his family had, well, I joined in as well, like a Zoom meeting.
Yep.
It was a bit manic, I have to say, but it was fun.
You got to be careful with the Zoom meetings, because I obviously I use Zoom, and you get too many people on, and you have everybody unlocked.
Oh,
it's
God,
like
it's
everybody's
mayhem.
talking over each other. Yeah,
exactly what happened. And I was talking to some people earlier, and who were saying, actually, there is this thing now where you think you have to contact people you haven't spoken to for years, but there might have been a reason why you didn't do that in the first place.
Oh,
but
good
all
point.
Of a sudden,
all right,
we have to do it.
That's a good tip.
Just, do I need to contact that person?
Like, hey, maybe we fell apart for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't really need to bring that back.
Exactly.
Actually,
it's so funny.
We're laughing about it, but that is true. This comes back to our mindset and the people we are surrounding ourselves with. So let's pause on that, because I'm a big mindset person. We made fun of the negative news networks. That is true. I mean, what are you surrounding yourself with day in and day out, especially during transitions like this? And off of your joke just now, which is valid, who are we allowing back into our lives during this transition?
Exactly.
Right? Because I didn't think about that. I was like, oh yeah, I was just making fun and having fun. Like, oh, reach out to so-and-so, but wait. Are they good?
Exactly. Is there like a feeling of obligation that you have to, or that you have to start re-engaging with these people? It's very strange. So there's something about, it's almost like managing other people's anxiety as well, when that communication comes your way, when perhaps you weren't in that space where you needed to reach out to them. So I guess maybe it's about putting those boundaries in, or just
how do you help people with boundaries? That's I mean, there's good coaches and bad coaches. There's good counselors and bad counselors.
Yes.
I feel like I've learned over the years that when it comes to boundaries, these are things you do kind of have to learn on your own. It helps to have some guidance. I mean, how do you get people to wrap their heads around these metaphysical boundaries? I'm air quoting for the listeners right now. If you watch the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. But, like, what is a proper boundary?
Absolutely. And it's different for different people. So it's kind of, what do you know what you deserve and what you have a right to? I think that's fundamental. Do you know that you deserve, that you have a right to say no, that you have a right to have your own space, that you have a right to, talk to who you want to talk to, to change, you have a right to change your mind. It's something about knowing what your rights are.
Is that tied back to like the self-worth component?
And then that will, absolutely. Okay. And then that will tie nicely in with the self-worth and self-esteem. Absolutely, it's all tied in, because the more self-worth, the more you value yourself, the more you will be able to kind of negotiate those boundaries. And when we say boundaries, they don't always have to be so fixed either. It's about negotiating them. Can I be flexible?
Are you referring to
here?
Are these like flexible boundaries? Is that what you're kind of hinting at?
Sometimes I think we have to be flexible. I mean, certainly during this period of time, when I've been teaching counselling for some years now, and there was a course in the last couple of weeks that I've had to put online. Now, in order for me to be able to do that for the last couple of weeks,
to keep teaching, to keep
teaching and to keep the group together, there was loads of stuff I was doing that I wouldn't normally be doing. Like I was texting students, I was phoning
And
them
you've
up.
never texted students before, have you?
Well, I have, yes.
But not as much as you do now?
But no, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to go and not get so caught up, with all of that, because life doesn't work like that. So it's kind of naming it as well, so everybody knows this is a transition period. Things might look a bit different for now, and then we have to come together and recontract. Same with clients. If we're online and we never used to be online, maybe now we need to recontract what's okay, what's not okay.
Oh, I told all my clients right now, because most of them, well, half of them are online, and the one I do a lot of travel with and for, but now we're more online. I'm actually running webinars for her company to make sure that all the business is still flowing. And but there was always like an hourly cap. So there was a boundary, right? Like your retainer that you pay me gives you this much extra time that I could run webinar trainings, et cetera. Well, I've blown that out of the water in the past 3 weeks because I'm in front of my computer every day. So we're booking more of that. Now, could I have restructured my contract and say, well, now you're getting all this extra? I'm like, no.
Yeah. So
I got to pause on that. I mean, we talk about health, business, and lifestyle right now. We've been all over the healthy lifestyle, but it's like, guys, business. These companies who are, I say, going down the negative route, increasing pricing, doing things like, no, don't take advantage of this situation.
No, absolutely not.
We should be coming together as mankind.
Yeah,
I do believe in getting paid what you're worth.
Absolutely.
But I was like, okay, because we were all forced to go virtual and go online, am I going to bill my client more because I've made myself more available to them? Not right now. No. I could if I wanted to be a jerk.
Absolutely.
But that's those boundaries. Like in the past, I always had very clear documented retainer documents and contracts. Well, here I'm like, okay. Like my one client's asking, hey man, do I need to, you're doing a lot more stuff for me. I'm like, no, it's cool right now. I'll let you know if we end up like bubbling over the threshold and now I'm stressing out.
Exactly. So it's about, it's that adapting thing as well, isn't it? But being realistic as well. Yeah. I can go so far, but then that'll be taking the.
Now you teach counseling to up and coming counselors, or are you helping grow existing counselors?
Well, both. So I teach learners, trainees rather, to become counselors.
Okay.
To become qualified counselors. Yeah.
So you help them get through that entry level to mid-level process.
Yes. Okay. The whole way through to becoming a counselor. Qualified, certified, you call it over there, I think.
I think it's all. If you don't have a certification, you don't exist apparently. So,
you're nobody.
I'm certifiable.
So I do that, and I'm a supervisor as well. So I clinical supervise qualified counsellors too.
Okay, I was gonna say, so these counselors that are under your tutelage and teachings. Where are they going for, like just general counseling, or like is there a path that they're on?
So it's general. So it's preparing them to become private counsellors, and then once they've done our training to become a qualified trainer. I mean, this is general everywhere in the country anyway. Then if they want to specialise in something more, they can do that after they've qualified. Well, it depends. It depends like what field you go into.
It's like when you go to the university, if you haven't picked your major, that's fine. You can get all the general education out of the way, but then as you get further down that path, you eventually do need to start, fine tuning that path.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are these all counselors that are meant to be independent, their own businesses, their own contracts, or are they looking to also plug into the bigger world?
Yeah, both. So some decide to, what we recommend is that after qualification, they take some time, get some more experience before becoming private, before working privately, and to continue on maybe in the agencies that they're, already working at, because they'll need a placement that they volunteer for to get their experience. So to keep doing that for a while after qualification is good. And also, some people might want to work in the NHS as well, on National Health Service. So,
nice.
So there are different routes. Some people might want to specialise in working with children, or do a different modality of counselling as well.
And so with your education protocols, are you always doing one-on-ones, or are they also group? Because I know on your website, you post things about workshops and events and things of that nature. So is it both, or always more
so
group-oriented?
This is a different business that I run with my husband.
Okay.
So that's I'm
just screen sharing again.
So this is our centre. Yeah, this is our centre. It's called South Coast Wellbeing and Training, and that's me doing a little bit of yoga there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's our counselling room just through that door. So when we're teaching counselling, it's in a small group of 10 people.
Okay.
But when I'm doing my Su Orosa personal development workshops, they have been in a beautiful place called Florence House, which is this private.
Is this that Spanish retreat, or?
No, that's a different one. That's one that I run with my cousin, and that's if you want to learn Spanish and do yoga.
Wow.
And this is in Spain because my parents are Spanish. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to happen this year.
I was going to say, that was my little segue question was, how are you adapting?
Yeah.
Because most of the events that I've signed up for this year have either postponed or just gone ahead and moved it to next year.
That's right. I had this weekend, a Reiki weekend planned, and that's had to be postponed. The July retreat, we have to postpone that. That won't happen now till next year. And there are my personal development workshops. So my one-day well-being retreat, I'll have to do that. I haven't organised one yet anyway.
Is there ways to innovate and adapt and turn some of these types of things virtual?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So the Reiki, no, I don't, because that's hands-on healing.
That's true.
So whilst I could probably teach the theory, because it's so experiential. So with the counselling courses, that's been okay, because with Zoom you have breakout rooms.
Yep.
And you can screen share and all of that kind of stuff, and do whiteboard stuff, and we have a whiteboard. So that's actually, that's working really well.
You're using a lot of the upgrades that I don't even use. I pay for it, but I'm like, I take it back. I do the webinar stuff. I do the multi-attendee video conferencing stuff. I have done a couple of breakout rooms, but I have all the whiteboard features and stuff, but that's cool. All right. You guys are using technology.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, we've had to up our game. Oh my God.
I'm sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah. More new learning.
Yeah, it's all new learning, forever learning. So that's good. So I haven't really thought at this point about the one-day well-being retreats, because I could put some aspects of that on here. The guided visualizations.
I would consider doing it just to hold them over. I mean, if people were looking forward to it, say, listen, we're still going to do this. It might not be till next year. I could at least help get a piece of it or a component. And then, because I'm a marketing guy, that's like, hey, you just got an early teaser, a tip of the iceberg, so to speak, of what actually happens at a full-blown event.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
I like that.
Because you have an audience out there that does want this, right? So it's like, okay, can I find a way to meet them a little bit and get them a taste of it, and then it just builds the excitement for when you finally do. For when it
happens, absolutely. Yeah. So the other thing is, I have a Facebook group called the Personal Growth Hub.
Okay.
So that's where I go and I share hacks or tips.
And is that a public group?
And that's a private group. Okay. And so on there, different things happen, and I post lots of regular tips and all things like that. And also, I've started doing Zoom. There were going to be interviews, but they're more like this, like conversations.
Right.
So once a week on a Friday at 5:30, there's one particular coach that I co-host with, and we talk about different personal development issues.
Awesome.
So that's good. That's on Zoom and Facebook live stream when it works.
There you go. You never know. Like I said, I figured out that I don't want to be doing these live stream podcasts anymore between 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, because it's usually people's dinner time or everybody's home, and I just see the internet getting slammed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good point though, isn't it, about how we can adapt our businesses.
That's it.
Yeah, because it's, the face-to-face is just not the same, obviously, working one-to-one with clients or in a group. It is different. Of course, it's different. You talked about presence earlier.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, you have to probably channel even more creative presence into a virtual call than an in-person call.
Yeah.
It's got to be harder.
Yeah, definitely.
But are your, I don't want to say clients or your students, do they see the value in that? Are they appreciative of the virtual calls?
Yes, they are. Yeah, the counselling course that I run with my husband, they've all been up for it, and they've all got on board. And the course that I've just finished, that was for a college that I'm not working for anymore. And a couple of those students did really struggle.
Yeah.
And so that was harder. That was definitely harder. But because it's the lesson, isn't it, for us all, is about how to meet yourself, meet yourself, and then try to come out of your what you're familiar with, your comfort zone, as we all know it's called.
Well, one thing I've taught in business too is I'm like, guys, like, if change is going to happen whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
So you either get ahead of the curve and get more comfortable with embracing it and rolling with it, and not allowing these, air quoting here, the speed bumps or the hurdles. Don't look at them at that. Look at those as opportunities to learn from.
Exactly. And that's mindset stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's turning something around. Absolutely. And seeing a different aspect. And
one of my old mentors told me a long time ago, he's like, Sky, he's like, listen, if you do not embrace change, you are doomed to fail.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
It's that
change
simple.
is going to happen. Yeah.
And now, granted, the people that are freaked out more right now are the ones that probably struggle with that. They haven't done the mindset work.
No. And so it's all intensified. All that struggle is intensified right now. Yeah, and so they need more support. Absolutely.
Well, and that's why we do. That's why we do podcasts like this. I bring people on like you. It's like, okay, well, what can we do? Yes, you have a brand, you have a business, and you're helping people, and you're teaching counseling, and I love it, and you're coaching. But it's like, okay, just you and I hanging out today. Like, if a couple of people watch this and listen to this,
exactly,
and they're reminded, oh man, you know what? I have been overdue to work on my mindset a little bit. Yeah. Time to dig a little deep and embrace the change a little bit.
Absolutely. Embrace the change. Love that. Yeah. Definitely. It's not everything. Everything is an opportunity.
Absolutely. That's a great mindset piece too. A lot of people don't look at it that way. They see mistakes and failures as just that surface level. And you talk to any entrepreneur, especially the ones that have gotten more established, these big names that are out there online nowadays. Usually when you meet them, if you ever sit down in a mastermind with them or get a chance to do some one-on-ones, you'll find that they're not talking about their success stories. They talk about some of their biggest failures or their biggest mistakes over the years, because those were segues. Those were educational steps.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where the learning is. That's where the growth is. Mm-hmm. Who are we if we don't make
we
mistakes?
Grow through pain sometimes. I mean, that's
absolutely.
It could be psychological, it could be physical, hopefully not. But okay, let's learn from that. Let's grow from that. So
absolutely. Yeah.
I
also wanted to mention, if I can also plug my two. I've got a couple of online programs.
Oh,
well,
are they listed on the site? Or are they separate?
Well, somewhere there should be something. This is bad, isn't it? I can't remember. But there's a personal development 3-month online program. It was on there at one point. It should still be on there. But I'm actually tweaking that and changing it, and so that's kind of.
Oh, okay. Well, it's under construction and getting improved. That's fine.
Yeah, that's it.
But wait, people hearing this, will that be something they can find on your site?
It will be, yes. Okay. It will be. And also, I'm doing, I've already got a 4-week how to manage your anxiety.
Oh,
in 4 weeks.
That's almost like a redevelopment program.
Yes, I
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the 4-week one, and the other one is a 3-month. So the first one's one person doing it at a time, and this 3-month one is a group coaching program, and that's a mindful conscious living program, a blueprint for living life on your own terms.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's going to be looking at mindset, movement, mood, and how
I
to
like your
maintain all that.
timelines because so again, just because I've had to learn over the years, like there's, I forget what book it is, but they tell you how there's, I guess, an average mathematical equation that in order to build a new habit, it's like at least 21 days. That's the average math. And then really just automatically round that up to 30, because you still need, okay, even if you might have potentially built the habit, now you need to start executing the habit consistently. So automatically take that into 30. But when I used to do a lot more health and fitness coaching, weight loss, body transformation stuff, I always told people, like, in the beginning, it was 90 days. I said, guys, you got to give yourself at least 3 months. Now it's really more like 16 weeks. I tell people, like, give yourself 3 to 4 months, because depending on where you are at on the timeline, your body could be going through a lot of transformation. There's hormonal realignments happening, all this stuff. And I'm just talking physical stuff, not the mental stuff. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's those times of putting those habits into practice and maintaining that habit. So there's that other transition period.
Plus, I feel like you need, once you've done that in the first month or so, you really need that 90 days to 16 weeks to just prove it to yourself that you've made it sustainable, and you can actually start observing and seeing the results. Especially if you're in a program like yours, because then you got somebody also reminding you of that. It's like, oh, dude, do you remember where you started and where you are today?
Yes, because we forget. Absolutely, we do forget. And having it pointed out,
Well, that's why you have people like you running workshops and programs. Like, okay, well, a lot of us don't keep a really detailed journal.
No, exactly.
You don't realize, like, wow, only 60 days or 90 days ago, I was thinking like this.
And now my life is changing. Absolutely, big turnarounds.
And is my math the same as yours from a counseling perspective? Do you see on average that people can get a nice mental shift in a good, 3 to 4 month cycle?
They can do, and everybody's different, and it depends. That's what I'm going to say. So it's a bit of a fluffy answer because people are so different.
That's true. It depends on the childhood, their upbringing, their programming.
It depends on so many things, exactly. If they're in a place in their life where they're willing to dig deep, they're willing and open and ready for that challenge, and they've already got that kind of approach to change, then that person is not going to take as long as somebody who's got a lot of trauma that needs looking at and healing before. So, because those things from the past are going to be blocks, and then they'll come out, it'll manifest in sabotaging, procrastination, all of those things. So those things all have to be looked at as well. And they're looked at as part of the program anyway. But, there's a lot of pre-work to be done before then as well, possibly in that month.
That makes sense. Well, anything worth achieving takes hard work, is how I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
well, listen, we're coming towards the end of our slot.
Yes.
And I'm glad you actually have all these new programs coming out too, because that shows you're staying innovative, you're rethinking things, you got new stuff happening. I'm excited for you. I think people like you, myself, and others that are already thinking this way, we are the ones that's going to help drive the change in the economy, keep people moving forward. And that's what we need to be surrounding ourselves with. So I have no problem patting you and myself on the back. I want more people finding influencers like you, podcasts like mine or others out there, because this is another way to surround yourself with the right energy, the right mindset content to start that reprogramming process.
Absolutely. Well put. I love that.
Oh,
That's
there you
great.
go. I'll pat
Yeah,
him.
there you
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
But listen, I do ask
Yeah.
I ask my guest co-hosts, because you helped me run the show today. How would you like to close the show out? I always ask people, like, what are some final words you want to leave behind, or is there an all-encompassing message behind everything that you're doing? Nowadays I'm starting to call almost like a legacy message, right? Like, why are we doing all this? Like, what is the legacy you're leaving behind in the world? But a lot of people have like a main theme behind what they're doing, and I figured I'd let you close that out for the
Yeah,
listener.
thank you. Just to know that you are worth it, basically. You're worth having a life. You're worthy of having a life that is lived on your terms. You're worthy of being you, the real you, and don't let anybody sway you differently or persuade you that you're not worth it, because you are.
I love that. That's short, sweet, to the point, but hits hard. I love it. Well, listen, hang tight. I want to give you a proper goodbye off the air. Ladies and gentlemen, again, her site is her name, suorosa.com. And you're going to have to check that out, because she's got a lot of new things coming up on there. So she does have a great resources section, a services section. So again, just as I close out the video, I'll screen share one more time, because her site is so colorful and vibrant, as I said at the beginning of the show. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to fuel your health, your business, and your lifestyle. I hope we definitely did that for you today. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, you too can live the fuel. And we'll talk to you guys again.